On the 23rd of September, it will be the end of the church age. I see pastors, opposing me, saying that there will be no rapture that day. I tell you, there will be no church that day.
Well, that didn't age well.
Years of the Holocaust, and then came statehood. 1967 was the Six-Day War, and then came Jerusalem reunited with Israel. Something is about to happen in the Middle East that's going to cause the course of human history to change, and that's what I cover in this book, The Four Blood Moons.
Well, John Hagee was ahead of his time. He knew that something was going to happen in the Middle East. And I mean, with what's going on in Iran right now, I think he was spot on. He prophesied it. And as you can see, oh, this is from January 6th, 2014, 12 years ago. Hi, my name is Ben. Welcome to the channel. And today we're going to be looking at false prophecies. Multiple, many. They're infinite. There's false prophecies every single year, and there have been, well, probably since Jesus left, somebody has said every single year that they believe that something is around the corner. And I think that John Hagee's Four Blood Moons is a perfect example, and we'll look at a few more. But I remember when this was going on because this one was 2 years after another significant year in failed prophecies, 2012. We'll look at that too, where John Hagee and the Jewish guy Jonathan Cain, the Harbinger, kind of came around, and that was big. And before that, there was the Left Behind series in the year 2000, right? We had Y2K, if you're old enough to remember that. And I think this is a perfect example of why you shouldn't be worried about what's going on in Iran today. Because it's not the end of the world. Probably. It could be, but it's probably not. And the reason it's probably not is because the Middle East is always at war all the time. There's always fighting, and there has been for a long time, especially since the 7th century and the rise of Islam. But I mean, there's wars and rumors of wars and things going on all the time in the Middle East and around the world. But the thing that I take issue with is all these people that are capitalizing on these prophecies. I mean, John Hagee here, what he just said in his Four Blood Moons, I mean, you could take that and he could write a new book today, use pretty much the exact same criteria he used for his book, The Four Blood Moons, in 2014, saying that the world was going to be ending soon. And you could just rewrite it. You could give it a new title. And you could say, because there have been more blood moons since then. And if you watch this entire interview, he talks about how they don't know when there's going to be more blood moons. And it seems like everything lines up and you put everything in there perfectly. And it sounds right at the time. But the problem is, if you've just been alive long enough and you've been a Christian long enough, you've seen enough of these fail to understand, you could probably ignore most of these predictions, because what's going on right now is probably not the end of the world. Could it be? Who knows? God can come back whenever he wants to, but more than likely it's not. And there is going to be, there already is a massive cottage industry of prophetic voices, with air quotes on screen there, in frame, um, claiming that they know it's the end, that all the signs are lining up, and then Israel's doing this, and Iran's doing that, and Russia's doing this, and they're coming from the north, and they're coming down, and China's coming from the west, and there's east, and they, all sorts of numbers and stuff. I mean, if you play with enough numbers and enough history, and you look at enough of the news, yeah, you could probably think it's the end of the world. But unfortunately for Mr. Hagee, the world did not end, and his Four Blood Moons did not mean that the world was going to end. But let's look at it. Let's look at a few more, because I want us to just, if you're new to the world of prophecy, or you're a new Christian, and you see a guy like this, or you see somebody saying something today, and you're worried, well, could this be the end times? You probably don't have to worry, because there's a whole litany of false prophecies and fake end of the world's claims and wrong end of the world's claims. And most of the people who make predictions about the end of the world have done it before and gotten it wrong multiple times. Let's actually go ahead and look at one of those men right now, Harold Camping. Now, I don't know if any of you remember Mr. Camping, he had a 2011. Let's see, this is from April 12th, 2011. And things did not go good for him. And we're going to start into his interview. And it's kind of hard to understand Mr. Camping's reasoning because his numbers and numerology and dates and adding and subtracting, it all makes sense in his mind. But that's about the only place it makes sense. And his followers, I remember this was very sad watching all these people sell their houses, quit their jobs. A lot of them cleared out their 401ks. I bought billboards. There were signs everywhere. People were putting stuff online. This is, early YouTube. YouTube started like 2006, so 2011. I mean, it was up, but people spent millions of dollars and gave Harold Camping millions of dollars. And I remember waking up next morning, just like everybody else, and seeing videos online of people who were mad at Harold Camping because they had been lied to. But let's just take a quick look at what he has to say here.
But anyway, when you break down 722,500 into its key numbers, it's 5 times 10 times 17 times 5 times 10 times 17. Well, now from the atonement, from the demonstration of the atonement on the cross to May 21, 2011, what happens on May 20? What happened at the cross? A demonstration of how our sins are paid for. Salvation begins there. What happened in 2011? The rapture. That is the completion of all of God's salvation.
So what happened in 2011? The rapture. I guess you guys were left behind, but so was I. So don't feel bad. It's okay. Well, the unfortunate thing for Mr. Camping is that everybody was left behind, including him. And I remember news stations at his front door the day after, and I kind of, I don't know, it's hard to say you feel bad for him, but you could see that he really believed what he was preaching. I don't think Camping was actually trying to deceive people. I think he really believed it. And he looked distraught and destroyed, but not as much as his followers did. So May came and left, and we were still here, left behind. And a lot of people were left behind with no jobs, no money, no houses, having to start over, and just a lot of hate and will ill and bigotry and anger, and it was not good. Another failed prophecy, and there's a million of them. But let's look at a more let's see, when is this? This is from 5 months ago, so this is a much more current one. Some of you guys remember this gentleman, this South African pastor. Now, this is an interview he had. It's over an hour long. You guys can watch for yourself, and I have the subtitles on because it's kind of got a thick African, like a South African accent. It's hard to tell, so I put this on so we could see. But this is just a little snippet, and actually, the reason I missed this one mostly is because I'm not on TikTok. I started one and I never use it, and I think it was, what was it? It was what do they call it? It went viral for the hashtag Rapture Talk because he was saying it was coming and it's coming and it's coming, and it never did. But let's see what he has to say here. This is Joshua, and I can't say his last name, so I'm not even gonna try to pronounce it.
Like that. So, and then there will be rewards given. So I'm begging Christians, because on the 23rd of September, it will be the end of the church age. I see pastors, opposing me, saying that there will be no rapture that day. I tell you, there will be no church that day.
Well, that didn't age well from 5 months ago. Sorry, that's not nice. But I mean, here we are. And once again, whether or not this person actually believes what they're saying is real is really besides the point. It's not real. He didn't get this from the Holy Spirit. And, maybe he was honest and he thought he did, but it doesn't matter. People were still deceived. People still lost a lot of money. People sold their homes. People were living in fear. And once again, here we are, not being raptured. Unless it was like a invisible rapture where, I don't know, like 10 people got taken. like in like South Indiana or something. I don't know. Maybe we just all miss it. We could all be heathens, I suppose. But I'm pretty sure that this guy was just wrong or lying or both. Who knows? But he had a lot of people upset. A lot of people were scared, and a lot of people lost a lot of money. And there's a lot of these. Let's see. Let's look at this real quick. Let's look at some other major failed apocalypse end times predictions for 2012. Because if you were alive for 2012, and most of you were, you'll remember that was a big year. And you'll see Harold Camping here. It was close enough to 2012. But I vaguely remember this guy, Jose Luis de Jesus Miranda, claimed the transformation of believers into immortal beings, predicted the end of the world, later revised to 2012. So you see, he said 2007. It didn't come. Oh, my bad. I got some numbers wrong. I mixed them up. It's actually 2012. So we're going to have to write a new book and sell more copies. Nothing happened. He dies in 2013. I mean, it's not funny, but that's, I guess, justice. Yes. So then here, Harold Camping, Judgment Day, May 21st, 2011. We just talked about him. Obviously, it didn't happen. And these billboards, I remember they were everywhere. They were in a lot of different spots. Let's see. Ronald Wineland, right? Jesus will return in 2012. Wineland later revised the prophecy and eventually served prison time for tax fraud unrelated to the prophecy. That's real nice. The Mayan calendar. Now, this one was big. This one was everywhere. It was on the History Channel, Sci-Fi Channel, Fox News. I mean, this thing was everywhere. The Mayan calendar was ending. And while most people knew that it was just probably a mix-up, that it didn't end, that they just didn't, there was some kind of what do they say, misinterpretation. That's what they say. NASA even published statements. Oh, thank you, NASA, for gracing us with your whatever. And then probably one of my favorites, Nibiru, Planet X. I remember this. The hidden planet called Nibiru will collide with Earth in 2012. Now, funny enough, I actually, my Facebook feed is just so odd. It's because of what I look at. I get it. But I follow a couple of, well, I don't follow. Every once in a while, a couple things will pop up on my Facebook page where people will post things saying that Nibiru is actually out there. It's behind the sun. And they'll post these edited photos where the contrast has been like turned super high on one thing or super low on another. And then there's a shadow, so it looks like a secondary planet, but we can't see it because it's behind the sun, supposedly. It didn't hit us, but it's hiding back there. I mean, these things are a dime a dozen. There's a million of them. And I mean, yeah, just be careful. Don't give your money to people like these. Don't subscribe to things like this. Be ready for the end of the world because it could come at any time, but you could die tomorrow and then the world could end the next day. So you won't even be here for it. So it won't really matter for you. Use discernment. Don't give these people your money. Study the end of the world, but study it biblically. Don't get caught up in the hype and the Jonathan Kahn and the Harbinger and the Four Blood Moons and the Herald Campings and the Mayan calendars and the Nibiru's and the Iran, and we're at war with Iran now, so this is the end of the world, and then Israel's doing this, and well, 40 years from 1940, about 88 reasons the world's going to end in 88. Let's just take a breath. Let's take a breath together and go on with our lives. All right, thanks for stopping by, guys. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you wouldn't mind. If you have anything you want me to do a video on in the future, put it in the comments down below. That's it. See you guys.